The Niners are 3-3. They've beaten a team that's 4-1 and lost to the freaking Eagles and Dolphins. Dolphins aren't bad. The Dolphins aren't bad. That's the thing.
They're a good team.
But they lost to the Cardinals, who aren't good, and the Eagles, who suck. So the topic is, I guess, are the Niners good or not? And I guess that's hard to answer. So what kind of teams can the Niners beat, and what kind of teams are they going to struggle with moving forward?
So I think the struggle, it comes down to teams that, one, can really take advantage of the corner play. As good as Verrett is, like, even if you have Stephon Gilmore in today's NFL, DK Metcalf is still going to beat him. And so if you have a true number one wide receiver, I think that guy can really hurt the 49ers. And a mobile quarterback, right? Those are the two things. Or mobile. I think
you're absolutely right.
Mobile, like, the term mobile gets often confused with running quarterback. Well, the Niners actually do a very good job on design quarterback runs, and they're very disciplined when they play them, besides one particular person who I won't name by name.
Yeah.
I was talking about a Niner. You point him out all the time, so I thought I'd just let him go. But they really struggle with their contain with the quarterback and letting guys make plays off schedule. Extending plays and making plays off schedule. And when you have that guy with a receiver who can really beat you, who you can't cover for a certain amount of time, it becomes really difficult for them. And then offensively,
so it's interesting to me, like, real quick, like, the Niners match up really well with the Rams, as we've seen. Goff can't move.
But Arizona's awful matchup.
Exactly. Like, they don't have they have good wide receivers, but not like a Pro Bowl, like not like a dominant wide receiver. And Jason Verrett can hold his own. Same with Mosley. When you go against the Cardinals, no one can cover Hopkins. No one can contain Kyler Murray, and it's a bad matchup.
Right. No one in the NFL can.
Right. Absolutely. But certain teams like the Dolphins have corners that can match up with all pro wide receivers, and the Niners just don't. Also, certain teams have faster pass rushers that can chase these wide quarterbacks, and the Niners have Eric Armstead. Not his fault.
Right.
So,
they do have their faster pass rusher who can chase these quarterbacks. He just happens to be on IR again.
Oh, yeah.
Was he on IR last year?
No, he might as well have been, though.
Yeah. Oh, right. He was in and out. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. So what's interesting is, like, the Niners, the next time they play the Cardinals, who knows how that's going to go? I mean, that's an interesting matchup. This week against the Patriots, interesting matchup because it can. But next time against the Rams, no problem, I would think.
You want to touch on the Patriots real quick? I think
let's talk about that.
I see that's where I have a little bit of reservations about just saying automatically the Niners are back, because next week's game is really hard. And then the game after that is just brutal scheduling. That's scheduling is just
the game after that is
when you play East Coast and then you got to come back and play your toughest rival division opponent, great quarterback, cross country on the road. It's nothing to do with the 49ers. You just got screwed by the scheduling.
Yeah,
it happens. But the Patriots game is going to be interesting because Brian Flores did a really good job against this offense. And what he did was he gave them a lot of different fronts, which I think the Giants actually did a very good job of this. Patrick Graham, another New England guy, week 3, but it didn't really get exposed because their offense was terrible and Mullins played great. But they're going to try to take away this run game. If you go back to the Super Bowl when Belichick played Kyle, Belichick talked about it. The way to play the Shanahans, he did it with McVay, and play this style of offense is that you have to stop the run. So he's going to stop. He's going to figure out how to stop this. Right. He's going to figure out how to stop this run game, and that's going to be his plan. And then when you stop this run game, they're going to play aggressive man coverage, and they're going to pattern match Jimmy's first read over the middle of the field, just like the Dolphins did. They will do that, which then is going to put a lot more pressure on Jimmy and this offensive line to perform and make a lot more plays, because there's also the thing on the other end of things where, look, I know Cam Newton had a bad game last week, but Cam Newton or yesterday, not really last week, but he's also a guy who just recently had COVID-19, so we don't know what the effects of that were.
Good point.
And he was also a guy who didn't have consistent practice. Well, let's say he's back to being Cam Newton. This New England offense is going to try to keep the ball, and they're going to run the football really effectively.
Right. We just saw that the Niners gave up 6 yards a carry. I mean, Belichick and McDaniels are going to see what worked and do that. Right?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What happened? What happened? Hold on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. I don't know what happened. God, that was scary. Oh my God.
Okay. So
all right.
What did you say? I missed it.
I forget. Hold on. What were we talking about? People.
We were talking about Cam Newton.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We can talk about something else though.
So Cam gets the pass due to COVID, but Jimmy has to perform with a bad ankle. I'm not going to even touch that.
Jimmy fans are so sensitive.
It's not. Look, I'm gonna touch on what I talked about earlier again.
The
Let's
run game.
away from
the run game. How the Pats are going to be running on the Niners defense. There's a weakness that's been shown, and the Pats are going to zero in on it to control the clock.
Right, and Josh McDaniels is every bit as good as Sean McVay, in my opinion, as an offensive game planner and offensive schemer. Even better.
He's better.
Right, and they're gonna. And the other thing is they're gonna make an effort to keep the football. And this Niners defense, something that's helped them in the games they've done well in this year, which is the Giants game specifically and the Rams game, is that the offense has done a good job of keeping the ball for extended periods of time. Their defense just doesn't have enough talent to play 60, 70 great snaps of football. And that has nothing to do with Salah, and it has nothing to do with the players on the field. It's just their defense, with all these injuries and the missing depth and all of that, they don't have the talent and
the depth. Yep.
And the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting game, I think, next week.
Yeah. So are the Niners good or not?
We'll see. We'll find out over the next few games.
I mean, what's interesting is like looking at I usually don't get to watch other games because the Niners are playing, but they played at night and I got to watch, and like Green Bay doesn't look good. I mean, Green Bay has pass protection issues. Aaron Rodgers, you hit him a few times. He goes into self-protection mode. He has one wide receiver. I still think the Niners match up decently with them. The team, to me, that the Niners are going to have problems with if they meet them in the playoffs are obviously Seattle and Tampa, because Tampa can bring a lot of pressure and they can play press man coverage too. They got some good corners and they have that quarterback. I forget his name. So I think other than those two teams, I mean, maybe New Orleans too. It seems like the Niners can compete with everyone except for maybe Arizona. I don't know.
They're a good team. They're a good team, right? The question, I think the question you're asking when they're good is, are they one of the elite teams in the NFL? I think that's what you mean by good, and that's what we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they got Green Bay coming up. That'll be interesting. They could win that game.